Hey Boss Tribe, it's D Shoots here. I'm here with another episode of The Boss in the Chair and have a very, very special guest with me today sitting in this chair. We've known each other for how long? I don't know.
It's been a while. It's been
maybe
at least
8 years? That's what I was going to say, 8
8
years. Just and I get to know new things about him every day. He's an author and a therapist and an amazing man who is really working in our community to really bring mental health to the surface as something we don't run from. So Jason Shankle,
Yes.
welcome to the chair. So you have to tell the group out there, what do you do?
So I'm a therapist, CEO and founder of Inner Self and Wisdom LLC. It's down in Park Hill near East High School. I'm also the author of Therapeutic Soul Searching Poetry. And my second book is going to be coming out, Crowns of Shattered Dreams. Just because I love to write.
And you're really, really good at it.
Yeah.
His book on poetry is amazing. So like when I'm having a really hard day, that's the place I go.
Right
It is incredibly therapeutic, which I think was the intent. Yeah.
Yeah, very much so.
Tell us how you got involved and why you decide to become a therapist, and a little bit about your journey too.
Oh, good question. God has a sense of humor.
Yeah.
The universe has a sense of humor. So,
Yes.
Just starting off, so I taught psychology at the Community College of Denver for about 5 years, and I was a community therapist with Excelsior and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I just got to that point in life where you just get tired of working for people.
Yeah.
You get tired of working for someone because, my motto is either you pay or you pay. So it's going to be sacrifice, it's going to be pain. It's like either way you're going to pay.
Yeah.
So I got to a point in my life when my last position, I was working for the state, being an instructor for TANF and stuff, and I just reached that point and I just said, this is it. I said, if I fail, I'm going to fail at my own merit, not because of a job description.
Yeah.
And it's a ceiling, it's a ceiling, because once you become an entrepreneur, you're like, let me bust this wall down. Let me, and it's just so rewarding.
Right.
To have my own space and to bring my kids into that space, so
right.
I can let them know, this is entrepreneurial stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A therapist and an entrepreneur, right?
Yeah,
and that's the thing about entrepreneurship is that it's like you have to build a business around your purpose or the thing that you love to do. And how did you know that you wanted to go into this work that is so difficult, where you walk into work and you carry other people's burdens and you get to hear what they're going through? Like, how did you know you wanted to do that?
I've been through a lot of my life.
Yeah.
Growing up in Park Hill and being a first generation student, first to get a bachelor's and a master's, finishing up my doctorate. I went through a lot of walks in life, and just growing up with, having that street philosophy, that street mentality. But what I say is it's just like chess and Monopoly put together.
Right.
I didn't lose my street sense. I was just able to transition into the classroom.
Right.
And a lot of pain, a lot of heartache, a lot of air, and then it wasn't until I got to a point in my life when I started to realize, beginning to get enlightened, like reading other books of philosophies, not just religious stuff, but I got to a point where I realized, wow, some of this pain was not meant for me. This pain was meant for me to learn, so when I sit down with people, I can identify. So I'm not carrying around energy that's not mine.
Whoa.
I'm not carrying around baggage that's not mine.
Yes. Some of this pain was not meant for me. What? I'm going to say that to myself all the time from this day forward. I'm blown away by that statement. And the other thing is that even if, let's pretend it was meant for you, even to be able to tell yourself that in the moment will help you get through it.
Right.
To be like, I'm going through this because there's something or someone on the other end of this.
Right.
That's meant to hear this.
Yeah, it was a lesson. I mean, of course it was supposed to happen, but it's not meant for it to become the overall narrative, because you got to think about it. We could live in the past, but what's more important than now? I mean, the future's not even here yet. We worry about the future, and now in the present, and then when you're interacting with people, it's the energy exchanges. Sometimes you may want to go off on somebody, and you just go, I need to work on this self-control. Some people, you're just like, no, you deserve that. I gotta let you know that I got boundaries. And I don't play that. So, just that piece of just navigating with that energy. When I realized, this is a lot of pain, a lot of things I've gone through, but I'm like, especially when I sit down with people and I identify with it, it's like a continuous circle.
Right.
Yeah, and I'm going, man, I need to, I call it like a self-care tune-up.
It's a self-care tune-up. This pain is not meant for me. I don't have to stay here.
Yeah.
Wow. You might not know this about me, but I really struggle with not living in the past. And I think it's two things. I'm contextual by nature. So I actually, what makes me successful in business is I can go, what happened before that got us here so that we don't repeat it. So in business, that works great, right? In your personal life, it can get you stuck. I also have a photographic memory, so I can remember the past as if it's a movie in my head, like plays out in my head.
Yeah.
So it's a lifelong journey for me to say, hey, let go. Like that pain is not meant to be the thing that you just have to continue to carry with you.
Yeah.
So what tricks do you have for that? What do you tell yourself, or what do you tell other people about living in the past, or how to shift?
It's this motto that I have, it goes, the past is a ghost that comes alive only with your energy, and the future has not got here yet because you have to be alive to get to the future. What's more important than now? And some of the tricks that I use, because I know that sounds great. Like, it's like, oh, maybe he just got it on the flow. No, I struggle.
Good.
It's not just, I struggle, But the thing is one tool that really works for me is I like to listen to audiobooks.
Yeah.
And I call it's basically distracting myself from myself. Because you got to think about it.
Yeah.
I mean, for people saying, well, I'll talk to myself, it's like, well, you got self-talk. And
you do talk to yourself. We all do.
Yeah, we all do.
Yeah.
Right? It's just, I guess it just depends on how you answer yourself. Like, whoa.
Yeah, or if you're intentional about how you talk to yourself.
So that's one strategy. I use audible books. Self-care is so pivotal.
Yeah, what does self-care look like or mean to you?
Intentional, holistic care for your heart and for your soul. So I'll sometimes as simple as going to get some tea, or simple as going to sometimes I'll go go to a sweat lodge or something like that. Do something like that. It's difficult when you got a lot of business and stuff going on, but you got to think about it. That's why it has to be intentional. Right. And sometimes just walk in the park. If I can just walk, because I'm a nature dude. Sometimes just walk in the park is just like, I intentionally edged out this time to at least go for a walk, and then I'll throw on that audible, like listening to like the Mastery of Love or the Four Agreements or something, just to hear that, you know what I mean? So I can get away from this critical voice, because, I have a photographic memory as well, and I can replay things quite a bit, and I'm like, man, because I'm very analytical. Right. And I know that about myself. So that's why it's almost like you distract yourself from yourself in a good way, but you got to be intentional. Yeah. We have heard that theme on this, sort of boss in the chair. Every boss that sits in our chair talks that way, right? They say in all different industries, and they do all different things, and their paths have been different, but they all talk about getting out in nature, getting out in the air, being intentional, setting aside time to just take care of yourself no matter what it is that you do. So I just love that we hear that theme, not just from our mental health therapists and the people who are supposed to tell us to take care of ourselves, but just everybody has that sort of in common. Yeah. They're all very different people, and I love that. It's really good to hear. Yeah. Who are what is one way you would describe yourself today that's been growth? Meaning, I was not like this 5 years ago. No one would have said that's Jason, but today they say, yeah, he's this. What is that? I think the word would be self-control, because when I was younger, I just tell people I wasn't always a therapist. And then there's some people that grew up in Park Hill with me, and I'll never forget, not to digress too much, but I had a friend who recently got out, and he seen me, and we grew up in Park Hill, and I told him I was a therapist, and he said, really? I said, yeah, I'm a therapist. He was like, oh, wow. He was like, okay, not in a disrespectful way, but it was more like wow, like I remember you be pretty wild, So I would say self-control, because it's a constant thing. Yeah. And I see things, and when I'm in these environments and things like that, don't get me wrong. I mean, I still have that same essence and spirit of myself, but it's just a different way of navigating. Plus, I have children. I'm constantly teaching. You know, one of my models is I tell them, hey, you teach people how to treat you.
Right.
You know,
Wow.
and that just doesn't stop. So I would say self-care, because I mean, there's some days I'm just going, whew, you know, I'm like,
teaching yourself not to react.
Yeah, teaching not to react, and in certain moments when to, you know, when to say no. Yeah. And also when to always implement your truth. Yeah. Because if you operate in a false self, you're going to do so many things you don't want to do. Oh, and I'm not into that.
Operate in a false self.
Yeah.
Okay.
Saying yes to a bunch of stuff, and you just go, man, I don't even like to do this, you know. And it's, think about it. It's never, these lists are never ending.
You just hit my second growth area. I'm a people pleaser. I say I'm really learning like the art of no. I put a period on it. Like, I don't want to do that.
No, it's a complete sentence.
It's a complete sentence. I'm struggling. I struggle. It's the hardest sentence for me.
I've had to work on it. I have to work on that, especially with the self-control piece. Because think about it. You know, when situations are happening, a lot of this stuff is just out of your control. So if somebody comes up to you and they're yelling at you, and you just going, no, don't yell at me. But then, you know, when you're analyzing it, you're like, yeah, they really mad at themselves. Unless they, you know, cross the line, and you just like, well, I guess I gotta bust a move. Yeah. You think that you can, you know what I mean? Of course, that's, you know, small.
But you allow yourself to sort of pause and say, okay, are they mad at themselves? Are they actually disrespecting me? And so how am I supposed to react in this situation?
Yeah. And it's an energy exchange. You know, that's not to say just because somebody is yelling, being disrespectful, just like you just sit and you just take that. But it's also, there's still self-control in this situation, because it could go different directions. Mm-hmm. A lot of different directions, especially growing up when you see a lot of wild stuff. You know, I got a lot of friends that's buried, and I've been to a lot of funerals, and you hear about the situation and how it happened. It's just like, wow, a decision.
Like in a moment, everything can change.
Yeah, we're constantly making decisions.
Not only are you a therapist, you know, who grew up and could have took a totally different path in life, right? Definitely. You are a Black male therapist. Like, how do people respond to you when you tell them that? How are people that know Jason when you were growing up? You mentioned a little bit about your friend, but in general, like, it's pretty special.
Yeah, you know, like a unicorn.
Yeah, it's true.
And I'm okay with that, because I'm from Park Hill, and I ended up bringing my practice, and it's in Park Hill, down these streets I drove down. But it's just interesting. You know, some things that come to mind when I'm thinking about what got me here, and when people ask me that, and they're just like, wow, because they seek me out and I connect with the youth. Also, I go out, I contract with Sabio and DYC, so I go into the detention centers as well. Yeah. And that's one of the biggest things. They just go, wow, I didn't know you existed. You know, that's typically what I hear, and you know, and being
not
from here.
Not just that you exist, but like when you go into a detention center with youth, which I love that work that you do, which to me is restorative justice, and that's what we need to be doing, is they see themselves in you. And like, we just underestimate the importance of seeing, I see myself in you, so I can open up. I can say, oh, it's okay to have this emotion or that emotion, because, you know, Jason told me that. So even just the fact that you're courageous enough to show up in those spaces and to be your whole self, meaning you never say, I leave my past behind, I'm proud of it. And it's a part of Jason the therapist today is so huge. I mean, my kids, and I say this because I want people to really be really proud of going to therapy and how important it is as a part of just my structure in life. But my kids also go to therapy, and they see Jason, and you know, to have kids say, I can't wait to go to therapy again, right? And just like it's everyday life, and like, I can't wait to see Jason. How was therapy? It was great. Like, my daughter will go off for an hour after therapy about therapy and just the things that she learned about herself, and she's like, it doesn't feel like therapy. I mean, whatever that means, right? But I think both my kids see themselves in you, right? And that levels the playing field around something that is far too stigmatized for us.
It is.
Where'd you get the courage, though, to start talking about it? And you're so open, you give tips every day, your social media is full of, you don't run from this at all. Where did that courage come from?
You know, just, I just got to a place in life and just enlightened, just going through enlightenment and just, walking in my divine steps, until I got that office, and then I said to myself, I can do this.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna keep going. It's 3 years strong, that's a blessing.
Yes.
But really that's really where that comes from, and just researching more about my spirit.
Yes.
And just my motto is just keeping my legs moving, because opportunities come around and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And just when I have young men and you just all people from all in the community, it really means a lot to me when I'm out in the community, and some people that have had therapy with me, I've had some young men stop me and just they just some people like, man, thank you for what you did, and they think, oh, you really ain't listening, and they like stopping you, and they just like, no, for real.
Yeah.
Like thank you, because they're just like, therapy usually does not look like this.
Right.
It never looks like this,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Especially in the system, it's hard to sit down with somebody that looks like the DA, and you think they're going to be trusting of that?
Yeah, somebody that wanted to put me, behind bars, and my therapist looks just like that person, and that's scary, and we underestimate that. Like, we are human, so we are attracted to what it's like, right?
Very soulful.
You know what I mean? So I just think it's so important that you're doing this work. We need a new hashtag, which is like therapy looks like me.
Yeah.
You just came up with a new hashtag. We'll use that because it's really important.
That's legit.
I hope you know how much we appreciate the work that you do in our community and beyond, to touch folks and to remind people how important this soul work is, and to take care of yourself, and to not be ashamed of taking care of yourself.
True. Very true.
Leave us with one thing. To Jason Shankle, leadership is?
I'm pretty sure you already had people say energy.
I didn't. That's my first energy. Yeah.
Really? Okay. It'd be.
I love it.
It would be energy, because relationships are energy transferences. I mean, it was either the word would be energy or like, tribal. And I say tribal because when I think of leadership and being my own business owner, I am my business.
Yeah.
My children represent me. I treat that as such. So it's tribal, but mainly energy.
I love that.
Energy is the thing that is constantly moving and
it's a great
evolving.
definition for leadership. And not only have I not heard it in this context, I haven't heard it at all. Like,
really?
Anyone ever say leadership is energy, and you are so right.
All right.
I love it. Leadership is energy, right?
Yeah. Mark me down.
Thank you so much for taking the time to do this with us today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me and everything that you do. This is humbling.
My pleasure. All right, till next time. Bye, Boss Tribe.